HDB studio apartments are meant for the elderly who want to downsize their homes. But some property watchers suggest that the scheme ought to be reviewed, given the similarities between studio apartments and two-room flats. Eileen Poh explains.
Except for the elderly-friendly features, a less discerning eye may take this studio apartment for a two-room flat. Studio apartments were first launched in 1998 to provide seniors with another option to get cash out of their bigger homes by downsizing to a smaller place. At that time, new two-room flats were not available. Studio apartments and two-room units are similar in several ways. Both are of the same size, 45 square meters, and have a similar layout. Given these similarities, property watchers say it is timely to review the studio apartment scheme as the government ramps up building of two-room units.
One consideration is whether or not the government should actually totally do away with studio apartment and move some of the desirable features of studio apartments into two-room flats for the elderly. Another suggestion is actually for the government to extend the lease of studio apartments. But by doing all this, actually the government is minimizing the difference between studio apartments and two-room flats. And so it again raises the question is that if you are going to make these two products very similar to each other, is there a need to even differentiate them in the future?
Property firm Propnex says studio apartments may not be as popular among their target audience, the seniors. Compared to two-room units, studio apartments have shorter leases, just 30 years. They also cannot be resold in the open market and must be returned to the HDB when the owners pass on.
Many elderlies, when they want to buy a HDB flat, they actually take into considerations that what if I pass on? Can I pass this property to my next generations? But if the lease is only 30 years, then many of them may not feel that comfortable. They'll feel that, hey, this property doesn't belong to me. I can't pass on to my next generations. Okay, so this is one of the greatest setbacks.
In HDB's last build-to-order exercise, a studio apartment in the mature McPherson area went for at least $114,000, while two-room units in the non-mature town of Bukit Batok cost a minimum of $80,000, excluding grants. On its website, the HDB says the studio apartments and two-room flats are not similar flat offerings. It adds that it's inappropriate to make direct comparisons of the prices of studio apartments with two-room BTO flats. This is because these two flat types may, for instance, be situated in different locations. The HDB says studio apartments are generally located in mature estates, close to amenities and transport nodes.